welcome to Join Our Town. I'm your host for this segment, Eugene Norris. On this segment, let's talk about language and how language can be effective and how it has an impact on your behavior. Well, to help us kind of negotiate through this topic today, we actually have the pleasure of having with us Miss Diana Bozier. She's actually a parenting consultant with children and adolescent behavioral health in the Stark County area. And I'll have her tell you a little bit more about that organization as we talk about language affecting our behavior today. Diana, welcome to Join Our Town.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
You know, you got a big, you caught our ears when you started talking about the parenting aspect, Diana, but talk to us about this first, if you don't mind. How did you get involved in this and a little bit about the organization you're with?
Child and Adolescent has been in existence for over 30 years, and it's a very effective agency for we have an early child division up to age 21, and therapists and therapeutic groups and therapeutic camp experiences to help children connect better and to connect with their families. So it's an all-encompassing agency, and my piece within that agency is to work directly with the parents, which is very unusual and kind of cutting edge, so that rather than interfacing with the children, I am helping the parents with what they can do in the background and empower them to get better behavior and follow through with some of the strategies that are being suggested in therapy. So it's
Tremendous.
a very all-encompassing program.
And you know, Diana, it's interesting because, you know, when we get our kids, they don't have any instructions taped to them or anything, and so we can sometimes make mistakes in trying to develop them. Help us with this aspect. When we talk about language, what do we mean? Are we using words or gestures? Kind of help us to understand where you're going with
There's been a great deal of research, and I anchor onto Dr. T. Barry Brazelton, who put some research out probably about 15 or 18 years ago, doing a language experiment with children 8 and under, the concrete thinking group, and they hear what we say. They don't understand sarcasm, they don't understand innuendos, so what we say is how they respond. So when, for instance, I say to a child, get your pajamas on now, okay? Let's get going with that. That's 2 sentences, and I put the word okay at the end of that sentence, and that translates to the child as a request or a question. For instance, are you ready to get your pajamas on now? And so what will happen is a little meltdown, no I won't, yeah, I don't want to, I'm not ready to, but it's because of the way that I approach the child. So if you get up and go, make a connective touch. Multisensory communication is so effective because it goes into the receptive tactile part of our brain, so we can feel the message. So rather than my calling from the kitchen saying, get your jammies on now, come on, let's get going here, okay? That's a request. It makes it an option and a choice. My behavior, I can change my behavior. I can get up and go. I can come over, provide a connective touch, press down for the one word time. I will say, it's time to get your jammies on now. Would you like my help, or do you want to do it alone? And do you see I'm moving you?
Yes, I noticed
and
that.
It's a gentle touch, and as long as you're only pressing down for one word, you can, and I bet you still feel where I pressed you. There's no claws involved here.
You're stronger than you look.
There's no anger. There's nothing. It's just a connective touch. And if you do that connective touch when you are responding to positive behaviors, for instance, if you say on the first time, it's time to get your jammies on now, I did not say okay, I didn't ask, or I didn't say please. It's a clear directive. So if I say that and then you stand up and get your pajamas on, again, I would get up and go and say, I'm always so proud of you when you listen the first time. So this downstroke also is a multisensory message. So language matters. Eye rolling matters. If I'm frustrated and I'm slamming doors and rolling eyes, guess what my 10-year-old is going to be doing? Slamming doors and rolling eyes. So what we put out is absolutely what we will receive.
And that's what I was going to ask you too, Dinah. Can we do that inadvertently in a negative sense? Because, you know, some parents, they get frustrated because they do, as you stated before, they said it, and now instead of me doing a gesture, they come and they maybe snatch or grab and don't realize if they would have approached it differently the first time, they could have got a different result.
Exactly.
What if they said, Diana, I've been really inbred this in, my child knows now, if I said I'm going to raise my voice, and they know that's the time to move. What if they want to correct that behavior?
It's easy to do. you can teach an old dog new tricks. I know that. So any parent can do this at any age. I work with parents of 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds and even 18-year-olds. It's not, that is
wow,
right. It is
okay.
not too late. When we change our behavior, it's like a mobile. And so if I've been doing this and my child has been doing this, we're just kind of swinging this way.
Yes.
If I do this, which carries more weight, the mobile is going to move, and my child will respond differently.
Yes.
So this is ageless. It actually works with in the workplace. It works with spouses. If you if you want to make a connective touch, or
Yes.
I really appreciate that you took the trash out last night. Whatever it is, once you get close, that physical closeness, rather than my saying over here, that was really nice that you took the garbage out last night. But if I get up and go and I say, that was really nice that you took the garbage
Yes.
out last night, that's a different message. And that makes you want to go take the garbage out again tonight.
Okay. But that connectivity is so important, I hear you saying.
It is.
Are there, how do you know how to do that? Like you said, you would stroke the arm or something. Does it hand, or does it matter where you do
It does matter. It does matter. When you're pleased with something, you can give a face hug, which applies pressure. I call it a face hug, or a kiss on the head for a child, like, oh my gosh, I see that you just were helping your brother with his homework. So that's nice. A downstroke is a signal. We receive it as love or understanding.
Yes.
Just a press down means you need to pay attention.
Okay.
So
now we're not looking at something very, because you're dealing with toddlers at times and so forth. Just enough to, what are we? What's the
it's the
signal
press
that we're
time
giving?
for one word, by the way. Like,
Okay.
it's time to get your pajamas
Gotcha.
on. Now, it's just important, it's just as effective if you are providing an appropriate, kind, gentle, thoughtful touch every time you see positive behaviors.
Yes.
So, but getting back to language, we use a lot of requesting language. We say, are you ready for bed now?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not ready for
course
bed
not.
now. Why would it be ready for bed now? You're
Yes.
asking, well, you need to go to bed. So when parents find themselves asking, or they'll call from the kitchen, this is the 5th time I've asked you to turn off that
So common.
television. How many times do I have to ask you? Well, the child's response in their brain is, I guess you're going to keep asking me until you come over here and yell at me. So we are now intermittently training our children not to listen to us until
Yes.
we've hit the bottom. Now I'm angry. Now I get up and go. And now I'm nice and close. So just do that the second time. You know, the first time you give a directive, it's not responded to. Then the second time you get up and go, get nice and close, because
Yes.
that closeness, whether or not you're going to provide a touch, the closeness implies unspoken language that what I have to say is important and you're going to need to listen.
Okay.
I will just say one other thing. There are some children who have sensory processing disorder who are extremely sensitive to touch and
Yes.
do not want to be touched. And I think parents know
We
their
call them
children.
teenagers.
Yes, okay. You know what? Emotionally, they think they don't want to be touched, but physically they do. They want to be loved and nurtured. That's never given up.
How about this, Diana? Because as you stated, there is no age range, and you know, there comes that time, you know, in adolescence, they start growing up. We're thinking, as I just, of course, being just somewhat sarcastic, that they don't want that. How do you begin to start interjecting that to help a good communication to begin to take place with the teenager and the parent?
Well, I think that there's a couple of ways that you can ignite some good communication. One of the things that I urge parents to do, you know, family dinners have just gone by the wayside. Everybody's too busy, off to soccer, off to this, parents are working late or whatever. But if you can initiate at least one, if not two, family dinners per week, make that effort. And then during that family dinner, somebody is a designated VIP. So for instance, if you were the designated VIP and I'm the mom and we have a couple kids here and that's how we would model it out, then perhaps you would bring maybe a basketball trophy from when you were in high school, or your yearbook, or a picture, a wedding picture of us, or something like this. So now it's your show and tell, and you also you can bring a picture of your father. It's your night to bring in family history, family unity. When I was a boy, here's a picture of me. I'm picking tomatoes with my great-grandfather.
Yes.
And it's an opportunity to open up the doors, and all you need is 1 or 2 nights if you can't do it every night. And then the next night it's this child, and maybe they're going to bring a picture of a vacation when they went, you know, rafting or skiing or whatever they love to do, and tell us all about that. So somebody is special every night.
Yes.
It engages a dinner conversation.
Tremendous. Wow, Diana is sharing some tremendous information. Let me let audience know who we're speaking with, though, because we want to find out about how can they get in contact with you or get some additional information also.
Yes.
So those that may just be tuning in, you're watching Join Our Town. I'm your host for this segment, Eugene Norris. We've been having the pleasure of talking with Miss Diana Bossier. She's actually a parenting consultant. I know you say didn't know those existed, but yes, they do, and so very helpful. She's actually with Child and Adolescents Behavioral Health, and she's been sharing with us today about language affecting our behavior. We know we can't talk about everything, and a lot of us keep in my interest, so I want to make sure we open it up for those that may have additional questions or information that they would like to get. So I'm going to ask Diana to possibly give a phone number or website where you can get some additional information, and also to talk about her book that she has to help you negotiate with this as we continue with our program today on how language affects behavior. How about let's get some of our technical stuff out of the way, Diana, before we miss that. What if I'm sure people have heard something and they're saying, wow, that's interesting, want to learn more.
Okay, well, if they care to open up services with child and adolescent behavioral health, they can certainly find it on the web. It's located in downtown Canton, in Belden Village, and in Alliance, all in Stark County. If they would care to connect with me, I write a weekly syndicated newspaper column which appears in Canton in the repository on Thursdays, and I'm also a monthly contributor. This is an amazing resource for families throughout Ohio.
Yes, Ohio Family.
Ohio Family. So in different counties, it's free in libraries and in grocery stores. And in the center, there's a pullout of what free events to do throughout Stark County. And I am a monthly contributor for that. I'm also a monthly contributor for a digital magazine called Life's Journey, which is all about family values and positive ways to do that. So in addition to being a syndicated columnist, I wrote a book, Parenting with a Purpose, that is written for parents of toddlers through teens, alternatives to reaching and teaching without yelling and harsh punishment. I have a website, parentwithapurpose.com. And so I'm on Facebook, and so people can connect with me and throw out a question.
Question, Diana, because we're going to be running out of time here, about 1 minute. That parents listening to you now, what's your quick statement to them to encourage them? They say, I've been doing this all wrong. What do you share with that parent?
Well, kids are not born with books, and it is so difficult, and children are very manipulative and love to embarrass us in public, and so the bottom line is become empowered, just get a little bit of information. Just a little bit of information goes a long way. Try the talking with a touch, try to lower your voice, speak slowly, and spend 5 to 7 times per day recognizing the positive, wonderful things that your child or teenager does. It will change the behavior.
Tremendous. One thing I keep hearing you put underlining in there is that positive enforcement, as you stated, your VIP day and those other items.
Yes.
Again, those that have been watching, we've been having the pleasure of speaking with Ms. Diana Bossier. She's been sharing some tremendous information with us regarding how our language affects behavior. She's already shared some tremendous information. I hope you grabbed a paper and pen and got that information down, but we're going to be giving you some additional information as we continue to talk about these topics, dealing with our family and our children, and just helping you in ways to continue to grow as we continue with more Join Our Town. So you may want to grab a paper and pen and stay tuned, because we're going to be coming back real soon.